Welcome. You're watching Heart to Heart with Dr. Roz. So stay tuned because your host, Dr. Roz, is in the house.
Good day, and thank you for joining us at Heart to Heart with Dr. Roz. We are on location in Johannesburg, South Africa. And I would just like to tell you, go get your friends, go get your neighbors, and tell them the doctor is in the house. We are back. And tonight, my special guests are the Mpshe sisters here in Johannesburg, South Africa. I would like to welcome you all on to Heart with Dr. Roz.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We're going to jump right in, and tonight we're going to talk about sisterhood. We hear a lot about the brotherhood. We hear about how we come together. We hear a lot about unity. But tonight we're going to interview 4 real life sisters, and we're going to look at their joys, their challenges, and how they formed a united front. So first, let's introduce ourselves. You all know who I am. I'm Dr. Roslyn Hill, and I'm the host of Heart to Heart. But let's go from left to right and have you introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Mpho.
Hi, I'm Mpshe.
I'm Mpshe.
And I'm Mpshe.
And these again are the Mpshe sisters. I've had the pleasure of meeting you and just really impressed with the way that you all function together as a family. And I'm really wondering, has it always been that way?
Not a chance. No.
I see. One of the things that we've looked at in just conversation is that you are what I call double PKs.
Yes.
PKs being principal kids. Both your mother and your father were in the educational system here in South Africa, both of them being principals at school, and then PKs because they're also preachers' kids. So let's just talk a little bit about that. How was it growing up being the children of principals and the children of a preacher?
Well, I think I'll start with the principal kids one first.
Yes.
The pressure was obviously to perform at school, so make sure your marks were always high. With Dad especially being a teacher of mathematics, that was never my strong subject. And he tried everything. He even had a saying, what is it saying?
Maths is the easiest subject under the sun.
They learned the phrase well.
The phrase we got right. We didn't quite get the
math.
Yeah. But that was the pressure. And then obviously just being exemplary students, making sure we're at school on time, that the parents were never called in for special meetings because we were naughty. I mean, if you were to get a demerit, we had.
Oh.
Yeah, your world was over.
God help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for myself, when I was still younger, I used to be very sickly, so my dad would take me along to school with him. And instead of sitting in his office and being sick, I would be taken to the classrooms and I would have to recite whatever the teacher wanted there, because obviously I know more, because I'm the principal's kid. And that didn't always work out well for me, but I suppose I just learned to perform and just know my sums, know what I need to know in English or know the poetry, because if you're asked to perform, you must know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about for you, Lucy?
For me, I think it was, I remember in high school, especially for mom, she'd call, because we used to do public speaking, me and a group of friends.
Yes.
And because she thought, oh, this is so lovely, bring your friends too. They must also come and encourage, the other young children at school to come do public speaking. So I remember having to convince my friends after school, like, guys, can we go to my mom's school? We just have to go encourage the other children, that public speaking, black children can do it too. It was interesting, but I mean, it was always like, yeah, the principal's child is here, the principal's child is here, so we must listen. Yes, these ones know better. So it was always that.
Okay.
The expectations on us, yeah.
Big expectations.
Yeah.
And Mpho.
For me, interestingly, I was in a school where Dad was a principal in primary school.
Oh,
so I think I did a year there. And so I got in, obviously everybody knew that this is the principal's, daughter. Actually, they didn't know, and they kept on saying, yeah, you think you're better than everybody, you're the principal's kid. And I said, yeah, I am.
Okay.
And from then on, there was just a tension on me. And so I always had to be first in class. I always had to be, as Dumi says, exemplary in everything that I did. Couldn't be in trouble. I couldn't be late. I could not do anything wrong, because if I did anything wrong, the principal's kid. So, yeah.
Okay. So it seems as though it's also built in some character.
Yeah.
It's definitely built in some confidence here. How about being a preacher's kid? Was there any difference between being the principal's kid and being the preacher's kid?
So for me, there's definitely, because we were older when our parents got into ministry, so that was a bit more pressured, because the expectations are still there to be of a certain level. And when our parents took over and we were teenagers, Dumi and I were teenagers, so it's a rough stage, adolescence and all of those things.
Yes.
And there's a certain expectation that you can't do this, and if they see you walking with a boy, oh my goodness.
World ended.
Especially being 4 girls, actually 5 girls.
Yes.
We have one sister who is in Cape Town, so she was not able to be here with us tonight.
Yeah.
But especially being a family of just girls.
Yeah.
No male protectors, no big brothers.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I actually think, in a way, for me, I always see it as it was good for me, because it did keep me out of trouble.
Okay. All
So when I
right.
wanted to get up to no good, not that I ever did. Should the thought cross my mind, there was always someone who knew my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always someone
Yeah.
who knew my dad. It
Okay.
was, So in a way, it kept me from straying too far. I mean, I still did my usual teenage things, but if there was nothing else to keep sense in my head, knowing that Dad was always watching in one way or the other kept me. So I look at it as a positive now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that for me, the parents went into ministry when I was very young. I was about 7 years old, and so it was always my life. It didn't look any different to what I'd known before. We used to go to church somewhere else. Now we go to church here, and I'm in Sunday school, so I don't necessarily see my parents on the pulpit. And if there was any difference, it was that I now had privileges. So if I did something, I wasn't in that much trouble because it's the pastor's kid that's done something, like, I don't know, forgot my memory verse. There was a lot of grace given to me, and it was fine for my friends as well, because they got privileges as well, because,
they were friends of the preacher's kid. Okay.
It's okay. And I think it's only when I got older that it started making the difference, because if I wanted to do something, I'd have to think about how it's going to reflect on my parents, or how what kind of an example am I setting for other children or other teens. But I think that for me, at least, I don't mind it all too much, because it taught me to be responsible about the decisions that I make. Because what I do, essentially, yes, I'm reflecting my parents, but it does reflect Christ. So it's in my adult years that I'm learning to transition into what I do reflects Christ.
Right.
So, yes, it annoyed me when I was a teenager, but now I see the benefits of having that structure and having my parents as pastors. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That is just looking at how a principal's child and a preacher's child then becomes a responsible adult and then has to look at, do I reflect my Father or do I reflect my Heavenly Father?
Yeah.
I think that's a part of the maturity
Yeah.
that comes as you age.
Yeah.
You know, what we're going to do is we're going to continue our show, but we are going to stop for a ministry moment, and then we're coming back with the Mpshe sisters. after that ministry moment, we are back. And we are back again with the Mpshe sisters. Well, 4 out of the 5 sisters. But also, you need to remember where we are. We are in Johannesburg, South Africa. And we're going to continue this conversation. You know, we've been doing some chatting, and I know that there's a definite age difference. And there was a really interesting story that came out between our oldest, Dumi, and Fifi, the youngest.
Yes.
Can you share that with our television audience?
So before Fifi tells the story, I need to give some context.
Okay.
So Fifi there's a 9-year gap between us.
Yes.
And so by the time she was growing up, I was a teenager and I was just trying to live my life. You know, the world revolved around me, making sure that I'm happy, I'm with my friends. And there was this little sister in my space that didn't feature too much. She can take over from there. I'm very embarrassed.
Now that you've explained it. So it was in my first year of university that I got a call from Dumi. And I'm sitting in the dining hall and I get her call. And I worry because she never calls me and like we don't speak. So I go outside and I'm panicking and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, no, I'm just saying hello.
Hello?
Hello
Okay.
for what? And she was just like, no, I just want to chat. And every week she started calling me and I suppose building a relationship. And so I started like, you know, speaking to her as well, sharing what's going on in my life, and we built rapport, and that was really good. And then she picked me up from the bus station when I came home for vacation. And so in the car, she turns around and she's like, baby girl, I woke up one day and I discovered that you exist.
And how old were you?
I was 19.
Okay. A little late on the discovery, but better late than never. Yes?
Yes, but we get along really great now.
Yeah,
Oh,
so we have
fantastic.
the thing when we talk amongst the other 4 of us, and maybe she's not in the conversation, we're talking to each other that Fifi is like our favorite. We're like, no, I'm really close with Fifi. And so we'll be like, no, I'm the closest.
No,
to
it's
Fifi.
me.
Yeah, so.
But in truth, these 2 are close.
Yeah.
Lucifer and Fifi are really
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
They fight, but like they
We're
tight.
Because it's only like a year gap between the 2 of us, so we spend a lot of time together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the challenges of growing up, 5 girls in a family. What have been some of the challenges?
Stealing of clothes.
Now, I did say we were in Johannesburg, South Africa, not Chicago, Illinois. But the story sounds the same, doesn't it?
Yep. You get to share, you've been searching for your particular favorite item of clothing, and next thing in church you spot it on your sister. You're like,
Hey.
I know that.
that's mine.
So all you can do then is just say, hallelujah. Okay.
Jesus, help me now. Jesus,
help
I
me.
need you. I need you.
And I mean, even the response is like, but Mpho, that's my top. Oh, I found it in my wardrobe. It's still mine.
Yes. Yes. So some of the challenges are the same challenges I see worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay. Chores, clothing, those sorts of things.
But I think communication as well.
Very good.
Between the 5 of us, we struggle to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
Or we just don't communicate well.
Completely.
At all.
Yeah. You'll find out information that something's happening in someone's life and you didn't know about it. And that's obviously quite upsetting. Like, how do I not know? And as a family, we've actually come to acknowledge, even with the parents, that we don't have they acknowledged.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they agree, but we've addressed it to them that as a family we need to talk more. We need to let each other in a lot more. So yes, we're close, but just like open your mouth, say something.
Yes.
Whenever,
When you're struggling with
good or
something.
bad. So that for me is a big challenge, and I mean we're all guilty of it, because I'll accuse someone of doing that, and then next week I'll get accused. Like they just found out that there's such an interesting brother in my space, and Auntie Josie, who lives all the way in America,
Right.
knows about
And
it,
like I was like,
and they only hear about it. Yes. So yeah, we need to work on that.
So communication. I'm going to stop there just for a moment, because you mentioned someone who's very dear to me. You mentioned an Auntie Josie.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go on and say that the reason the reason I met you all was through Minister Josie Martin from the U.S., who comes here along with her dear husband, Elder Ron, and they come annually, and I believe they've probably been here. We all think that, you know, they've probably been here forever, but I think it's probably at least 18 years
this is home.
that they have been coming here and ministering, and then setting up their ministry of Dream Girls. And you all are examples of what Dream Girls are.
Wow.
We've talked about the challenges, but let's talk about the joys. The joys of being 5 sisters.
You have an instant friend.
An instant friend.
An instant friend, I think. I mean, even most recently, Fifi and I have started praying every morning together, you know, for, yes, the husbands. Thank you, Jesus. But, you know, just knowing that she's here, even though, I mean, you do have friends outside of home.
Yes.
But you do have an instant friend. You play dolls together, you know, just, she was there.
Yes.
Yeah. I think also you always know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you go through in life, you are not alone, you know. I can say, even planning a wedding, I knew that the budget was not on me. Like, I was like, that's not my life. I have sisters. And so I could, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just that knowing that you will never go through life alone.
Yeah.
That's
Our sister Tsolo, she lives in Cape Town, and when she was getting married, her wedding was in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
We planned everything
Without her here.
without her here, and she was just happy to arrive at her wedding. And this is what we're doing. But we found joy in doing that for our
Serving
sister.
each other.
It's about serving each other, and you know that someone's got your back. And I suppose also we understand her. So if we'd gotten a wedding planner, that back and forth, she'd have to explain herself. But we just, you know, like, she's not going to like that. So, no.
You all said something very interesting. You said that you're never alone, that you understand each other, and that you have each other's backs.
Yeah.
If you were just to say to the television audience, if there were just maybe 2 things that held you together and that perhaps could be inspirational to other families, other sisters or brothers and sisters that are struggling, what would those 2 things be?
Can I say that the one thing that I think was common ground is Jesus? The fact that we are all saved, so it's common ground.
Yes.
And so you're able to call each other for prayer. You know that whenever I call, I'll never get an advice that's outside the Word of God.
Yes.
And I think that's what's held us together, the fact that we have Christ in our lives. Yeah.
Something that this relationship taught me as well was to appreciate the people in your life. My sisters are very good at saying thank you. As the eldest, I pull rank very quickly. Like, I'll be like, I'm the eldest, you must just do it. And it's almost like an expectation that people must do what you say. But so when they've done favors from me, gone and cleaned up my house when I had unexpected guests and I was nowhere near my house, or whatever, you know, they just they being there doing things that actually they didn't have to do has caused me to be able to sit back and be like, appreciate.
Yes.
I talk to a lot of friends that don't have that. So actually what you're raising is very important, where people are like surprised, like, you guys are like really friends.
Yes.
Yes. And it's that not taking family for granted, appreciating them, praying for your family. That for me has really been great.
Wow. You know, our time has gone by so quickly. First of all, my time here in South Africa is moving quickly, but most certainly my time here with the Mpshe girls. I thank you so much for being on Heart to Heart with Dr. Roz. I wish I could stay here with you a little bit longer and we could enjoy this conversation and the company of one another, but I think that you've told us some very important things about the sisterhood and truly being sisters. So for all of you that are watching Heart to Heart with Dr. Roz, I'd like to thank you, and I say again, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Go with God.
Are you visiting or live near Chicago? Well, visit us at Dixmoor Apostolic House of Prayer. Join us for the Dixmoor Experience. Our services are Sundays noon at Dixmoor Apostolic House of Prayer, 14314 Winchester Street, Dixmoor, Illinois, and worship with us and be blessed.